Okay, my name is Neil, and for the last 28 years approximately, I've been a full-time Christian that loves Jesus Christ, and at exactly the same time, I've been a daily abuser of alcohol and a chronic alcoholic. I didn't think the two could go hand in hand, but I found out that they can. It reached the point where many times I'd be going to work drunk, I'd be going to church drunk. I found that my Christian life was empty, desolate, unfulfilling, and desperate. I found that most of the time from a lot of religious people I was getting everything from guilt, advice, judgment, and condemnation. And that left me more and more relying heavily upon alcohol itself. After a couple of times I went to the hospital. The drinking was so bad. Once in Charlottetown, and once I had to be rushed by ambulance to Halifax. About a year ago, after I'd lost my driver's license because of an alcohol-related offense, I checked myself into rehab, and there I finally came to the end of myself. One night around 2 o'clock in the morning, I dropped down on my knees, and my prayers before had always been kind of a conditional prayers. I'll do this if kind of thing. But this one time I hit the floor and I said, God, I'm asking that you either kill me or cure me, because this so-called life I'm living is just not worth it anymore. It's only existence, and I want out of it. And I'm willing to do it on whatever terms you dictate. It's perfectly okay with me, whatever you decide. And at that time I really didn't care if I lived or died. That's the honest truth. And God heard that prayer. I think God really likes desperate prayers. And I found that within 2 months, my craving for alcohol had gone. I got my wife back, my family back, and he's slowly working on a lot of other stuff, very slowly, in his own time, in his own way. On March 26th of this year, I received another miracle. That's what this is here. This is a medallion for 1 year's worth of sobriety. And this has nothing to do with me, it has everything to do with him. It's a total miracle in my life, because I've never ever been able to go this long before.
Judy, how did you cope with all of it in the middle of years and years of living with somebody that was an alcoholic?
Not very well. I knew that he had a problem from about 1992 onward. I knew that it was out of control, and that it was going to be taking him away from us eventually, or it already had taken him away from us. I threatened him. I told him I didn't want the alcohol in the house. I threatened to leave him. It just made him drink more. And it wasn't until he lost his license back, I think it was December of 2008, that I hit my desperation point. So I went in and saw a family counselor, and after about my second visit, I realized that it was me that needed help. And that I had an addiction that was perhaps even worse than his. And that was an addiction to controlling other people and to fixing them. When I was a child, I was abused, and I always grew up wanting to have some sort of control over anything. I'd gotten to the point where I was controlling my children. I was trying to control him. I was trying to control everybody around me, my friends, and that either by manipulating them into doing what I wanted to, guilting them into doing it, or making them feel sorry for me so that they would offer to do something for me. And I was pretty hopeless. I was very unhappy. On the outside, I was, sweetness and light, but on the inside, I was dying. And I didn't know what happy meant anymore. I was pretty miserable. But then God used a simple process called the 12 steps to kind of walk me through getting back into a relationship, a real relationship with God. And I've always been a Christian. I've been a Christian since I was 12. But this was different. This was a real day by day, vibrant relationship with God that kind of transcended everything that was happening at the time. Like, it transcended the fact that he was still drinking at the time, and it just gave me the strength to start making some changes in my life, because I had tried to change and there was nothing happening. No matter how hard I tried to change, I just kept doing the same things over and over, and it wasn't working. So I finally threw everything into God's lap and said, whatever you want. I need you. I can't do it without you. And he stepped in and very slowly started to minister to my inner child and heal me on the inside of all of those things that had happened to me when I was growing up. All of those, the physical and sexual abuse, and the abandonment, and the emotional abuse that I'd gotten. And after I'd been in this process for maybe about, I guess it must have been about 8 months or 6 months to 8 months, somewhere around there, I started to experience something that I had never felt in my life. And that was a sense of joy and a sense of peace. And strangely enough, I was able, with God's enablement, to forgive every single person that had ever hurt me and let go of it. And I started to feel compassion for those people. And it's just marvelous what God can do. When I gave everything over to the Lord, then he took over, and he just gave me the strength and gave me the power to be able to make those changes, because there was no way I could do it on my own. And he's been a great friend throughout the whole thing, and I can't imagine life without him.
I just want to reiterate what she says. Absolutely. I can't imagine this last year without Jesus Christ. There is absolutely no way. I found that I grew up on a diet of legalism in the church I was attending as a kid. So Bible memorization and all sorts of other stuff. And those are the things I tried to fall back on in order either to please God or to make a difference in my life. And the whole thing kept on crumbling. And everything I tried, nothing seemed to work. I just kept on getting deeper and deeper into this alcoholic hole. And it wasn't until I threw myself, quite literally, on God and said, whatever it takes, whatever you want to do, I'm perfectly fine with that, I became fat, dumb, and happy, which is what the situation is today. The beauty of it is, and I find it just amazing, is that we all think that we're in so much control of our lives in so many different aspects and areas. I can't control my next breath. I can't control how much hair I'm going to grow tomorrow, which in my case probably isn't very much, or how much I'm going to grow by an inch or half inch or whatever. I really can't control a lot of really important stuff, but he can. And I'm finding the more I give to him And it's easy to do because, hey, if I can't control, I don't want it. Here, it's yours, God. The more that happens, the more I'm finding that this serenity and peace and a calmness in situations and a knowing what to do in situations that used to totally baffle me before is coming slowly. And it's not happening overnight, but there is a definite renewing, a progression, a restoration. And sometimes I can't see it, but my kids and my wife will tell me this all the time. And this is super cool. I like that. So, a relationship with Jesus? Absolutely. For anybody that doesn't have one, look into it. He's in the business of restoration.